start today's edition of the Clarence Bud Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your world since the last opportunity we had to spend a little time with you some 24 hours ago. We start today's show talking about the pending weather and the cold front that is expected to move through. If you have been out of the loop the last day or so, you may not be aware that the Storm Prediction Center has Baton Rouge under a moderate risk for severe weather. The scale runs 0 to 5. For the Baton Rouge area, it is a 3 for today. The main threat is expected to be damaging winds with gusts 60 miles an hour or greater. Obviously, when you're talking about a front moving through, packing winds of this force, then tornadic activity is always a possibility. Obviously, flooding could be a concern because in many of the storms that will be generated along and through this front, it will be severe. So there is the possibility of some localized flooding. We all know the typical places where flooding occurs, so word to the wise should be sufficient. Stay abreast of the weather as the day progresses. The good news in all of this is that it will move rapidly through the area. And of course, on the backside of that front, as we all know, you can expect the temperatures to drop significantly. So again, word to the wise should be sufficient. By the way, the timing of the most severe weather is expected to be from noon today until 6 p.m. So as we approach the next hour, have your guard up, be aware, and exercise caution in that regard. In other Louisiana news, Governor John Bel Edwards announcing yesterday that he is, with limited exceptions, lifting the mask mandate as part of the COVID-19 protocols. The governor's executive order was set to expire today, and as a result of his decision, will do so. By the way, while the mandate is lifted in most places across the state, the requirement will remain in place for K through 12 schools. One caveat in all of that is that the school districts themselves will have the option to opt out if they agree to adhere to the stricter CDC guidelines. As you know, earlier this year, the State Department of Education lessened their own guidelines as far as quarantining children that tested positive or had come in contact with individuals that had contracted COVID. LSU, meanwhile, says the university will keep its COVID constrictions in place through the end of the fall semester, including the mask requirement. BRCC also announcing that they will keep their mask mandate in place through the fall semester. The option for schools to opt out has already seen a number of school systems announcing what their plans are. Here in the capital region, after the announcement was made by Governor John Bel Edwards yesterday, some local districts were quick to respond. For example, Ascension Parish, saying that there will be no mask mandate starting October 27th. Catholic schools in the Diocese of Baton Rouge say that masks will now be optional. East Baton Rouge Parish says they will keep the current masking guidelines in place. Livingston Parish does away with the mask mandate starting October 28th. St. Helena Parish, no more mask mandate starting October 27th. Across the river, West Baton Rouge, no mask mandate. And West Feliciana Parish, our friends up in the gorgeous Felicianas, no mask mandate starting October 28th as well. As a caveat to all of that, the federal masking mandate will remain in place on school buses during transport of students to and from the various schools. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, then obviously you want to contact your child's school to find out exactly what measures they are instituting or doing away in that regard. Meanwhile, here in the capital city, in response to the ever-growing, worsening crime problem here, it was announced this week that Baton Rouge will be taking a number of steps to try and deal with the problem, most notably spending millions of federal dollars to try and lessen, and I hate the term, I understand it, but I've always been of the opinion it's somewhat misguided to combat, quote, gun violence. Guns in and of themselves don't engage in violence. It is the idiot behind the gun that does all the damage. But, you know, if it makes some people more comfortable by labeling it as gun violence, well, so be it. But at the end of the day, y'all, this is a problem that, like it or not, agree or not, it is what it is. It all goes back to simple parenting. That is the beginning of the problem, and for those experiencing the problem, it can also be the end of the problem. All the social programs in the world are not worth a hill of beans unless and until you can implement good parenting at home. If you take into account simple mathematics, and yeah, I realized it as I was saying it. Well, Clarence, you know what the liberals do with mathematics. They'll tell you 1 + 1 is no longer 2. Well, that's a different show for a different day. But when you take into account, out of the 24 hours in every day, if you put aside 8 for sleeping for a child, which is what the recommendations are, 8 to 10 hours, that's a full third of the day. Another third is spent in a school setting, and obviously the remaining third is spent at home and in the immediate surrounding community. So obviously, with the 8 to 10 hours completely removed from the equation as a period of rest, there are only 2/3 of the day left. One of those is set in an instructional setting, and when you then leave that setting and go home to your respective communities, if you are not reinforcing what's being taught in school, then not only are you swimming against the tide, but you're also completely lessening, if not totally obliterating, the lessons that have been learned in the, quote, learning environment. At the end of the day, y'all, I understand, Democrats, liberals, progressives have this penchant for throwing money at a problem. Democrats have never met an ill in society that they didn't think could be fixed by throwing more money at the problem. Well, in many cases, money is what led us to some of these problems. And pure and simple, good parenting will fix all of this. End of discussion. Good parenting will fix the problems in school. Good parenting will fix the problems in the community. Good parenting will fix the problems with crime. At the end of the day, it all starts at home. Pure and simple. And as we head to our first commercial break of this hour, it's amazing how things happen during the course of our existence, And when they are troubling things, and we as a community decide that we're going to attack this problem head on, it's amazing how, despite what the media will tell you, despite what those on the left will tell you, when it really comes down to it, where the rubber meets the road, you end up finding out, at least in my case, when you look at the community of color, we have a whole lot more in common with conservatives than we do liberals. And on top of that, when we adopt a conservative approach, we fix the problems that the liberal philosophy has brought about in our communities. I've got a perfect example to share with you right here in the great state of Louisiana about something that happened recently. And when the community decided, you know what, enough of this crap, we're going to fix it ourselves. The results, absolutely amazing. Stick around. Let me get this first break out of the way. I want to share this with you when we come back. And maybe it'll make a lot more of us in the community of color go, maybe there is something to what old Clarence has been preaching all these years. We'll talk about that after we get our first break of this hour out of the way and talk more with you right where you've got it, here on the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer. Team Mazda on Airline.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. We, as a society, go through certain phases in our evolution. And typically, I guess as is part of the human experience, we find out that certain tried and tested solutions to problems are usually the best. It doesn't take a whole lot of intelligence to realize that there are certain things that have served us well in this country and this society throughout the years. And I guess it's to be understood that people go through phases where they see certain problems and they're upset about these problems, and in their angst, in their rush to find a solution to a problem, will typically overlook the mechanisms that are already in place that, if used properly, would fix said problem. We also find throughout our experiences that aside from the tried and tested approaches to problems, there are many of them that can be solved by the individuals involved without any outside help, without any outside resources. It's simply using the things at our disposal. You have heard the catchphrase, personal responsibility and accountability, from conservatives over the years. And for those of you that don't understand the meaning behind that catchphrase, it's simply individuals doing what individuals can to fix individuals' problems. Pure and simple. What's amazing to me is how the mainstream media looks at things of this nature. You've heard me say God knows how many times, if you simply look at the core issues, people of color, black folks particularly, we have more in common with the conservative ideology than the liberal ideology. Now, I will leave to you to decide why it is that so many black folk will vote liberal when in fact their personal ideology is 180 degrees opposite. I don't know if you remember, a couple months ago, there was an incident at Southwood High School in Shreveport, a school that has an enrollment of about 2,000 plus. I want to say in the neighborhood of 2,200 students there. Well, over the course of 3 days there, they had an incident, violent in nature, students totally out of control, fighting. So much so that 23 students at Southwood High School were arrested, handcuffed, hauled off. So a group of dads there decided, you know what? We need to, and more important, we can fix this. Let me share with you from this article in the New York Post, of all places, and I want you to remember the irony here. The article is entitled, "Dads Find Creative Way to Combat Violence at Louisiana High School." They talk about the huge number of fights at the school and how over this 3-day period, 23 students were arrested for fighting at school. So a group of dads, led by the founder, Michael Lafitte, decided, you know what? We got to get this under control. So this group of dads, about 40 of them, started patrolling the hallways of Southwood High School. They were, quote, keeping an eye on their students and, more important, the troublemakers. Now, it's pretty obvious the kids there, and I would imagine just as obvious, the administration, all knows who the troublemakers are. So this group of dads, led by Michael Lafitte, said this, quote, remember, conservative ideology, quote, we decided the best people who can take care of our kids are who? Are us, end of quote. We decided the best people who can take care of our kids are who? Are us, end of quote. Since this group of dads formed an organization, broke it into shifts so that there are always some dads there, patrolling the halls, keeping an eye on the students, keeping an eye on the troublemakers, not a single incident of violence has occurred now at Southwood High School. All because these dads did what dads are supposed to do. Now, as you might imagine, from the time, and the group, by the way, is called Dads on Duty. The kids, those who are the troublemakers, they're embarrassed by this. And of course, the dads, being good dads, they don't care about that, whether you're embarrassed or not. But for many of the students, they willingly say, our school has not been this happy and this peaceful as long as I can remember. Now, if you are a conservative, like yours truly, you're probably saying, well, you know, if these dads had done this at home, and if these dads were doing this in the community, imagine how much less a problem violence would be. It is such a simple concept that maybe, just maybe, that's why it escapes so many other people. At the end of the day, it's a simple proposition, y'all. And the dads on duty, say that our approach in the school is old-fashioned discipline, and they're now thinking about starting chapters all across the state. Now, let me say for the record, I applaud them for the effort. It's way past time. Hats off to them for doing that. But you know, at the end of the day, this is how it was supposed to be from the beginning. You know, not long ago, when I was a kid growing up, oh my God, PTA night, the administration was pulling their hair out, trying to figure out where are we going to get enough chairs to house all of these parents that are going to be here. When the word went out from the PTA, we need volunteers for whatever activity, fill in the blank, they had more people than you could shake a stick at. But go back further than that. In the communities that we all grew up in, every single parent on the street had carte blanche that if they caught you doing something you had no business doing, you could tear that butt up right there on the spot. And then you'd call the parents at home, tell them what happened, and the child was deathly afraid of what was going to happen after that. But we have allowed this, y'all, to go by the wayside. We have allowed Democrat/liberals/progressives to put this crap in our minds about, well, you know, you don't want to hurt a child's self-esteem. I heard something, and it ain't got nothing to do with self-esteem. Ask Sarge about it. He'll tell you. Ask Hazel Fontenot Buggs. She'll tell you about it. And at the end of the day, these are our kids, y'all. It's our future. It's our community. And just think, it took, God bless them, a mass fight where 23 students were arrested. A number were expelled. Others were suspended. And of course, there are dozens of kids sitting around with their cell phones videoing the fight so they can post it to social media, but that's a different show for a different day. Just imagine, had these dads taken it upon themselves to do this before it got to this point. Now, I know what some of y'all are saying. Well, Clarence, they didn't know. They had no idea that it had gotten that bad. Well, I question, why didn't you know? It's your child's school. It's your tax dollars that pay for it. And it's your child that you're supposed to have a conversation with at the end of every single school day. Not to mention calling your child's teachers and the administration to find out what's going on there. The days of allowing school to be babysitters, those days are gone, y'all. At least they should be, because the simple fact of the matter is, how's that working out for us? Just a question. Just a question. Tip of the hat to dads on duty in Shreveport. Who knows where it's going to go from here? But dads, it's our time. Step up, handle our business. Our kids will thank us for it. Trust me on that one. Bottom of the hour break. We'll get her done. The mainstream media, all of a sudden, they're waking up. Imagine that. We'll talk about that when we come back on today's edition of the Clarence Buggs Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurley Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, as we reach certain stages in life, there are realities that come along with the blessing of longevity. Despite what liberals will tell you, there are some absolutes in life. Sadly, one of them is the decline of individuals' mental faculties as they age. In my lifetime, we have seen an explosion in Alzheimer's and dementia. It is a sad reality of life. And if you are like millions of our fellow Americans, you will find yourself dealing with a family member, loved one, friend, coworker, parents, that you start to realize early in the process something's not right. We've had an increased awareness in, the last 20 years or so of Alzheimer's and dementia. And if you have ever gone through this to any degree with a family member, you know the signs, you see the progression, and you know, based on where we stand now at this point in time, things are not going to get better. As a matter of fact, they're going to get worse. We have watched, we conservatives, with increasing alarm, the obvious mental decline in the leader of the free world. The mainstream media, I'm tempted to say for whatever reason, but I think we all know the reason. They've gone out of their way to hide this fact from the American people that the leader of the free world is not all there. Recently, the president decided to hold a town hall meeting on CNN. Did y'all watch this? You talk about disturbing, frightening. The number of times where the leader of the free world cannot put together a couple of intelligent sentences without losing his train of thought. The number of times where he expresses something that has nothing to do with the question at hand is frightening. Not to mention the mere fact that we have now arrived at a point where the leader of the free world won't take questions from the media, even on things that he's just delivered an address about. Well, apparently, last Friday's town hall on CNN was so disturbing that even now the Wall Street Journal is starting to say, y'all, something's not right here. Now, I don't know how many of you regularly view, read, visit the website of the Wall Street Journal, but for those of us that do, we understand where their political leanings lie. We know that the Wall Street Journal regularly runs cover for the Democrats. So for them to come out, the Wall Street Journal, and print this opinion piece, this op-ed, opinion/editorial piece, really speaks volumes. Let me share with you just a portion of this op-ed. It reads, quote, "We take no pleasure in pointing this out, since the U.S. needs a president who can handle the strains of the job. Mr. Biden was never Demosthenes." That I had to look up, I'm not ashamed to say. Demosthenes was an Athenian philosopher and speech maker, very eloquent, very articulate, was noted among his peers at the time. Mr. Biden was never Demosthenes, and all presidents stumble in speech. But Mr. Biden's frequent public confusion about the major issues of the day is a reason for growing public concern. Now, I guess I should give a tip of the hat to the Wall Street Journal for not just noticing his ever-accelerating mental decline, but also having the journalistic integrity to say something about it. It is, help me out here, Marty. The emperor has no clothes. Was that an Aesop's fable? Marty's like, bruh, you asking me? I want to say the emperor has no clothes was an Aesop's fable. I could be wrong. Don't take that as gospel. I see y'all Googling right now. Well, Clarence can't Google because he's talking to us. I got it. I think it was an Aesop's fable. But the young boy in the tale, Bill, you might know, Aesop's fable, the emperor has no clothes. Was that an Aesop's fable? Boy, the white people. I can't get no help in here at all. Bill doesn't know. Marty doesn't know. We don't care. And don't care. For that matter. But the young boy in The Emperor Has No Clothes, even though everybody knew it, it took a child to say out loud what everybody else knew. Now, the Wall Street Journal, for whatever reason, decided to come out now after this CNN town hall and proclaim the emperor has no clothes. So where have you been all this time? Those of us with just a modicum of common sense. For those of y'all that didn't pay attention in English class, that's just a little bit. Those of us with just a little bit of common sense have been watching this saying, whoa, wait a minute. What is going on here? You know it's bad when the Wall Street Journal and other mainstream media outlets start telling us something's wrong here, y'all. Hans Christian Andersen, son of a gun. That's who. Okay, not an Aesop's fable. That's why I told you, don't take it as gospel. Thank you, Marty. Quote, The Emperor's New Clothes is a literary folk tale written by Danish author Hans Christian Andersen about a vain emperor, wink, wink, who gets exposed before his subjects. Way to go, Jonathan. Thank you. Marty, thank you for the use of the phone. Where have they been all this time? Now, if you are one of those that voted for the Biden-Harris ticket, at this point, you should be asking yourself, why didn't we know about this before now? You see how they conveniently used COVID-19 as cover throughout the entire presidential election to keep Joe Biden hidden in the basement. Now, I understand politicians are who they are. They do what they do. All they're concerned about is getting or maintaining power. That's all they care about. They don't care about us. And that's true for many of them on both sides of the aisle. The problem is, look what they stuck us with. Look what we are now stuck with. And you know what's another very telling sign? Have you noticed recently Vice President Kamala Harris? She's MIA. You don't see her anywhere near Joe Biden making joint public appearances. You know why that is, right? Joe Biden's approval numbers are so low, nobody wants to be seen with this guy. Kamala Harris, CNN, went back and did some digging. Back in January, she made 18 joint appearances with Joe Biden. Joe would come out, say whatever it was before he ran and didn't take questions. And Kamala Harris would be standing there, you know, in full support, 18 times in January. In the coming months, as this administration has continued to fumble every single issue that's come their way, since January, joint appearances with the vice president and president dropped to 13, to 10, to 8, to 5, to 3, and in the last 2 months, only one time has Kamala Harris been there publicly in support of whatever Joe Biden was forgetting to talk about as he was talking to us. Now, it is literally impossible, y'all, that the folks in charge of the Democrat Party, it is literally impossible that they did not know last year that Joe Biden's mental faculties were failing him. There is no way on God's green earth you can make me believe that the folks in charge didn't know we are running damaged goods. And yet, they trotted him out there, propped him up, and got you to vote for him. And now, even the Wall Street Journal is saying, Houston, Baltimore, D.C., Baton Rouge, Pocatello, Idaho, Portland, we got a problem, y'all. We got a real problem. Imagine that. Tried to tell you. Did you listen? Nah. Well, that's why you got what you got. Problem here is the rest of us that saw this coming, Not only did we try to warn you, but now we got to try to fix this mess. Border, crime, inflation, Afghanistan, and the list goes on and on and on. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Buggs Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Buggs Show. You know, you've heard me say, God knows how many times, one of the major grievances, problems, disagreements that I have with those of the liberal persuasion is their unquenching desire for control. You've heard me say, these people want to control every aspect of your life. What kind of light bulb you can use, what you can eat. Y'all can't be eating meat because it's killing the planet with methane. You've heard all that crap. What kind of car you can drive. Well, no, you need to have an electric car. Where you can live, what you can wear. And it's progressed to the point now where they want to control what you can think and what you can say. Have you watched this flap with the trans community and Dave Chappelle? Dave Chappelle God bless him, is one of those comedians that understands there are no sacred cows. I am Dave Chappelle, an equal opportunity joke-telling offender. He makes fun of everybody. But the trans community now, transgender community, they've lost their freaking minds over his Netflix special, demanding that he be canceled, censored, the whole nine. You know what's so ironic here? Most of us conservatives, we don't care about your sex life. We don't care about whomever you decide to do. We don't care about that. But it's you all who want to shove it in everybody's face. Most of us wouldn't have any clue you feel the way you do had you not come out and put it out there for the whole freaking world to see. So let me get this straight. You get to come out, shove it in everybody's face, say whatever you want to say about it, but when somebody offers a differing or dissenting opinion, oh, well, they need to be canceled. Do you not see the lunacy in this? But it's not just there. And of course, when you're talking transgender folks, you pretty much are subscribing to liberals. It's gotten so bad now that social media is picking up the same trend. Remember we talked about Rachel Levine, Assistant Secretary for Department of Health and Human Services, Richard Levine, okay, who Admiral Richard Levine, and how the White House came out congratulating him on being the first female 4-star admiral in health services. So Congressman Representative Jim Banks took to Twitter saying, the first female 4-star admiral of health services has been taken by a man. And of course, Twitter banned him for telling the truth. But see, you would have to be the biggest fool on the planet to think that this is about whether or not an individual who thinks they are something else is in fact something else. Bruh, you're a dude, Hoss. You a dude when you came here, you're gonna be a dude when you leave. Now, you might think this is what you are. Well, I'm a woman. No, Hoss, you're a dude, bruh. You were one when you came here, you're gonna be one when you leave. End of discussion. Of course, now, it's not about that, y'all. It's about these liberal buffoons wanting to control every aspect of your life. Now, has anybody questioned, wait a minute, how long have human beings been on this planet? How long have we all understood that there's male and there's female? How long have we all understood X and Y chromosomes? But now, all of a sudden, this little bitty tiny group of people gets to tell the entire planet that all of humanity, all of humankind, all of the freaking species, y'all been wrong for thousands of years, but we're here to set the record straight. See, that's why I don't do social media. I don't care what y'all say. I'm gonna call it just like it is. Every freaking time out the gate. I don't care. And I don't care whether you like it or not. That's your problem, Hoss. And your problem, by the way, is not with me. Your problem is with the truth. And until you fix that, I don't have time to even talk to you. Why would I waste time? My time's getting short. I'm on the backside of the slope. So to spend my time talking with you is an exercise in futility. Problem is, I am not going to sit idly by and watch you pass this crap on to our children. Not quietly. That ain't happening. And you can make book on that, Captain. End of discussion. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But this day, maybe more so than any other day in history, I give it to you. Yeah, you're right. America, we ain't perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's still the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you do realize that he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. Keep an eye on the weather. See you soon. God bless.